Perfect. So we are here. We are live on YouTube. We should be live. Right. Just setting up some things in the background. Just trying to make sure that everything is okay.
You have a
Okay,
great website. Let's make sure.
perfect. So this is good now. So let me quickly share my screen. Screen two, this is over here. And let me share this presentation of mine. Then you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Welcome. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Saudi Arabia Microsoft Excel Power Platform Meetup Group. This is one place in finite solution where we connect, share, and learn together. I'm Faraz Shaikh and Microsoft MVP placed in Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, we just have 5 MVPs, and in Office applications, there are 2. So I'm one of them. And I have another MVP with me. My friend David is also here with me and my meetup. Thank you, David, for joining us. And yes, so today it was very quick, so most of you might be knowing me. So if you like to see my blogs or my YouTube channel, definitely you can always go and see my site. I'm trying to just enter somebody in the room, so I'm doing the backstage as well as on the front stage. So yeah, so that's my site, excelexciting.com, and you can always feel free to visit, where I post about blogs on Excel, Power Automate, and I love automation. I really love automation. So today I'm here with some of my friends, and these are some of our past meetups which has taken place. I've been running this meetup since 2021, and it's been going pretty well. We have a lot of speakers who came. In fact, we hold a summit as well, a mega summit that happened along with my friend Elgar from Azerbaijan. So we have massive people response coming from there. And then this year meetups, we had a lot of speakers come in and are going to come. And this is a great opportunity to have such great speakers over here, and they come and they talk about this technology and give us an insight that how we can do it. So just a quick thing about upcoming meetups. So we have 17 July, Eric is going to come, and Tine is already over here with us. And just to let everybody know that who is interested in sharing their knowledge on Excel or Power Platform, Google Sheets, anything, would like to come and share to the world, share to this group, please feel free to write me back on excelexciting@outlook.com, and we can connect and definitely plan up the session. Just for a better experience, you can always try just quick housekeeping. You can keep your mic muted, and if you have anything, raise it in the chat box. Just if you have a question, just put Q before to that and just put a question Q, and then you can put your question what you like to ask, so that it can easily help the presenter to find about the question. So great. So one thing to note that this session is being recorded, and it's available on my YouTube /Excel Exciting. So you can always go and watch the session recording. And the guest today, Tine from Slovenia, head of empowerment in Zebra BI, and it's lovely to have him over here. And we have been talking about doing a meetup session where somewhere in November, right? Tine, we plan to do somewhere in November. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was in November last year we planned it, and today I'm here and I got a lovely chance to meet my friends over there. So this is a picture in Bulgaria we took together, and I didn't miss that opportunity. I always make sure that I take pictures with my friends, and so it's been a lovely memory always. So Tine, stage is yours, and I'll leave the floor to you, and then definitely you can please introduce about Power BI, because when I saw this thing, I was really amazed. The way how it is working in Excel. I was knowing Power BI, it was there for Zebra BI. The Zebra BI, which was there, it was in Power BI, but now it's coming to, it's already there in Excel. So it's really lovely to see, what do we have, and the charts are amazing. So hold on tight, guys, because Tine is going to take you to a different journey of reports, which you're going to love it. So what do you, Tine?
Well, thank you, Faraz. That was quite an intro. Hopefully, I'll be up for the task. So yeah, let's jump over to my screen. And as Faraz mentioned, today we're going to be talking about data visualization or the thing that we call actionable reporting in Excel. I will explain what exactly does this term mean, but yeah, as Faraz mentioned, Zebra BI is all about creating software solutions for advanced data visualization. And most of the people know us more from, let's say, Power BI. However, recently, about a year ago, we also released new product that is available for Office, meaning for Microsoft Excel and for Microsoft PowerPoint as well. And essentially, what we want to achieve with that is to kind of provide ability to create powerful, actionable visualizations in different platforms, because we know that still, a lot of people are using Excel, and it's probably still the #1 BI tool. That's why I guess it makes sense to have support for advanced data visualization also in that tool. Faraz already did a presentation of me, so there's not much to add. Yeah, I've been with Zebra for like more than 3 years now. Yeah, it's been a very exciting journey. And today we're going to be talking about, as I mentioned, actionable reporting. Oh, hi, Frederick. So first, I'm going to explain what exactly are the challenges with data visualization in general and in Excel as well. Then I'm going to show you some maybe tips and tricks that you can do within Excel. And then I'm going to showcase how Zebra BI software can help you with that. At the end, we can also have a look at a couple of different things like templates that you can use and different resources that can help you along the way. And of course, we're going to conclude the session with the Q&A. If you have any questions, either jump in between or join us at the end of the session. Now, to continue with actionable reporting, when creating reports or dashboards, we are facing like a typical challenge. How to get from data, and we know that in 2023, we have tons of data everywhere, basically. But the real challenge is how to get from data to like insights based on which we can make business decisions and take action if we want. This is the key of what reporting should be all about. I like this definition of a report or a dashboard, which is that a report is basically a tool that is helping end users to get answers to their question. It's a really simple definition, but at the end, I think this is what reporting is all about. And by the way, what we want to do with reports is make this action distance as short as possible. We know that, I don't know, directors, CFOs, CEOs, they don't have a lot of time to really drill into the data and analyze everything. They want information, straight away, so that as soon as you look at the report, you have your key information presented there. So this is what we want to achieve with the report. Now, the problem is that most of the reports are actually not designed in that way. Here I have this, I believe it's actually a Power BI example, but it's also really applicable for Excel or PowerPoint. Like this report looks kind of nice. It has a lot of different colors and different visuals, but so the key question about a report and dashboard should be, can we really make, informed decisions based on that? And those decisions are typically really simple. Like, how are we performing? Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Are we below the plan? Are we better than previous year? By how much? And what we're going to do next. Okay, so this is something that we call a simple 4-question test. And this I would recommend to always do when you create a report, because this will help you understand whether or not your report is, let's say, actionable or not. And then at the end, once we have answers to those questions, then we should make the business decisions. But from a dashboard like that, it's kind of hard to do. So if I quickly demonstrate, we can see that our total sales performance is almost 1.9 million. But what exactly does this number mean? Again, is it good? Is it bad? Is it better than planned, better than forecast? Is it below the plan maybe? By how much? We simply don't know. We cannot answer any of those questions. And that is a problem. And as mentioned, this is not related just to a specific tool. I would say it's a common problem. And that goes for Excel as well. So a lot of time you see reports or visualizations like that, which are either, not the best, let's put it like this, or we are dealing with like huge tables with a lot of data, tons of different calculations. But then again, what is the key message? What is the information we want to pass over to our audience, to the report viewers? And yeah, this is a big problem. I don't know, guys, if this sounds familiar, but even if you would go on Google and search for like Excel dashboard, you would get results similar to what I'm showing right now. What is missing are the actionable insights. Now here I have one example that is, I think, a bit different, much more actionable, because I guess it looks a bit different straight away. But now let me kind of explain the key benefits of approach like that. So this is now with Zebra BI visuals. And now if I repeat the so-called 4-question insight test on this example, well, I can see this is my total sales. Then if I move on to the next visual, I can immediately see that this is below the plan performance. More so, I can see that we are performing 1.1 million below the plan. And I see that because, for example, I have variance integrated straight into the chart. And this immediately gives me indication whether or not the performance is good or bad. Now, if I want to understand, well, why are we performing below the plan? I can just move on to the visual on the right, where I can see in which particular months is our performance good, meaning above the plan or below the plan. Again, we have variance integrated, and I can immediately understand what is going on. Now, speaking of variance, I guess you also notice that we don't have like, I don't know, 20 different colors on this page, because colors in data visualization should be used with really specific purpose. So this would be one example of like green, something you can immediately associate with positive performance, and vice versa for the red color. And this will definitely bring clarity and consistency in your reporting, which is, I would say, one of the key elements when designing the report. Now, I'll continue with explanation of our performance. If I move on this table below, which is a bit more detailed, I can see additional insights. So in this first column, I can see how much total revenue are we generating. Since everything is organized, I can immediately see which are the best performing elements. But what, again, I think it's even more important is the variance part. Again, which categories are performing below the plan. Now, we can see that in some cases we are slightly below or above the plan, but immediately this element stands out. Okay, so we see this red chunk that is related to women's category, and you can see that the performance here is almost 700K below the plan, which explains most of our gap towards the plan. If we move on to the second page, here we have a couple of additional insights, but again, on the left we have the so-called SmallMultiples, which is really a powerful approach because you have basically dedicated chart for every single business unit. Again, variance is incorporated within the visuals. Really important also is that we have scaling in place, meaning the bigger, the more relevant elements in terms of generated revenue are proportionally sized. If you want bigger than others that don't generate that much revenue. And then we can also see like total impact compared to plan. And as mentioned before, again, this element really stands out because you can see we have stable below the plan performance from January to July. So something is not going in the right direction in this particular element. We are having 1/3 below the plan performance, and something needs to be done here if we want to increase or improve the overall performance. Now, yeah, hopefully I was kind of able to demonstrate the difference between actionable and, let's say, traditional reporting. But I will explain all the key elements of actionable reporting during the hands-on examples that I will build later on. Now, back to the original point that I made at the beginning. Excel is, great tool. It can be used for a lot of different things. I guess, yeah, Faraz, you are the first one that can confirm that. Because you can use Excel for a lot of different things, and including everything related to data visualization and all kinds of different analysis. I would say still much of business globally is being run through Excel spreadsheets, and that's why it's really important that we do things in Excel in the right way. Because of the things I mentioned here, Excel is here to stay. People are familiar with the tool. It's actually really easy to use. I guess what Zebra BI brings to the table is providing a solution that will enable you to really create impactful and actionable reports. And as you mentioned for us at the beginning, those things look very similar to Power BI, which is the platform where we started. But essentially, now we brought the same user experience also to different tools, to Excel and to PowerPoint. And what we want to ensure with that is kind of a seamless platform experience. So regardless of the tool that you are using, you are able to create actionable reports. Okay, enough with the PowerPoint slides. Maybe let's jump over to Power BI and build something really simple. So what I will show you first is, how to maybe do a chart like that in Excel. I will show you how you can do that with a couple of tricks in order to have that variance integrated within the chart. Because here, then I can immediately understand what is the performance in each month. But maybe let's start with like really basic solutions. So if I select this and maybe insert a basic chart, I guess this would be the obvious choice. And that would be out of the box chart. If I make it slightly bigger. Now, again, you do see some trends, insights from a chart like that. But again, what if you have multiple charts, maybe with 3 years of data history, or if you are presenting data on a weekly level and so on, and you show that to a boss. Now, if I were to ask you, like, what is the key message here?
I'm sorry, showing something data.
Sorry, yeah, my bad. Here I am. Thanks for letting me know, Faraz. I was doing it on a second screen. Sorry, my bad.
Great.
Okay, so as I was saying, I just created this native Excel chart, and again, okay, I have legend below, so I can see actual data is orange. Then I can see some trends, but then again, specifically, I need to check every month, and then what is the key message here? It's maybe a bit hard to see. Maybe I could switch to line chart. That would be maybe a bit better. But yeah, what I think is the key in the reporting is to always add context to your data, which in this case, we have everything we need. So we have, for example, comparison to previous year, or that could also be comparison to plan maybe, or to forecast. But in general, whenever we are presenting the data, it's really important to compare them to something, because that means adding context to your data. And this is really important, because if we don't have that comparison, we simply don't know what is our performance. If I illustrate that from maybe with some real life examples, like for example, speed limitation. You have a certain number, let's say 70 kilometers or 70 miles per hour. Well, this number has completely different meaning. Or let's say that we are driving at 70 miles per hour. If this is on a highway, then it's perfectly fine. If we are, somewhere downtown, we're gonna get, a huge ticket. So the same goes with reporting. In order to really understand the numbers, it's really important to compare them to something. Now, let me show you how to maybe build a chart with integrated variance. So I'm gonna do a couple of tricks. I won't go to every single detail, but actually what I want to do is a combination of column chart and stack chart. But first, I just want to show my actual data, which is something that I already have here. But then in the next step, I will need something, let's call it base. I will explain later on why we need that. But essentially, I'm just going to use a simple formula. So I'm just going to select the minimum element of those two. And in some cases, it's going to be previous year. In some cases, it's going to be actual data. Then what I want to do next is something called, let's call it variance. So let's just type in variance. And I'm just going to, again, do a simple formula. So I want to see what is the difference between my actual data and my previous year. So again, really simple formula. Let's just expand it. And now we have the difference between our actual and previous year data. But then I also want to have that variance. And to be precise, I want to have positive variance and negative variance. And now again, let's do something really simple. So I'm going to write a simple if statement. And let's say if this number is bigger than 0, then give me this number. Oh, sorry. Then give me this number. Otherwise, just give me 0. Okay, I see I have slightly bigger number, so I'm just gonna add the divide by 1000. Sorry for that. No, sorry. I don't need that. Okay, no, it's all good. I just need to remove the decimal places. And let's see if the formula works. Yeah, if it's bigger, then give me this number. Otherwise, just give me 0. But now I want to do the following. So for the negative numbers, I want to do the same. So if this variance number is smaller than 0, then give me this number. Otherwise, return nil. Okay, so now I have my positive and negative variances. But for this one, I want to do something specific. I want to actually show them as a positive number, but with minus sign, because for the stack chart, we're just going to be adding things on top of each other. Now, I need to do a couple of formatting options for that. So first, I'm going to add ABS, meaning absolute number, so that this will be a positive number. But I want to have minus sign in front of them. And for that, I need the custom format. So I'm just going to go into the settings, go under custom format. And for positive number, I actually want to put minus in front of it. And then I'm just going to add the semicolon so that format will work. And I don't want 0. So let me just, yeah, I think this should work now. Okay, perfect. So I have just sort of negative numbers with that. And for this one, I just want to add plus sign. So again, I'm going to do the custom format. I'm going to add plus, and I just want to show basically positive numbers. So let's go with this option. No, sorry, I need to add 2 more. Okay. And now let's create the chart. Now we have all the data that we needed. So first of all, I want to visualize my actual data. So I'm just going to select those cells, and I'm going to insert the so this chart. Now, when doing visualizations, I would always advise you to get rid of all those elements that don't have a particular value. So for that, I'm going to remove the grid lines. I'm going to remove the legend for now, and I also going to remove those labels on the left or the axis, because I will add labels later on. One more thing we need to do here. So let me just select this data series and select month so that we will have the right axis. Okay. Now this is a solid chart. This is the performance of our actual data. Now I'm just going to format it slightly different. I'm going to switch fill to gray. And I'm going to also make gap between columns slightly smaller. Maybe let's go with something like this. Okay, and also let's remove the border as well. Now this looks much cleaner, but what I want to do next is add that additional series. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just simply copy paste and add my base to this one. So this one will actually be used. It won't be visible, but we're going to use it just kind of as a base on top of which we're going to add additional elements. And since we're going to be adding the elements, okay. Faraz, any tips how to remove this ribbon at the top?
I'm really sorry, ribbon. You can just minimize it in the bottom. And there should be an option of minimizing this. It will be on the top.
We're on the top. No worries. I will try to improvise it, but
you can just try to move that widget. You can move that widget.
Okay, but I cannot remove it. Okay, so maybe let's put it here for now. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with Zoom. We usually use the Teams. Okay, so as I was saying, what I want to do next with this one is actually change chart type to stack chart. I'm going to explain why to do that, but for now, let's just maybe switch to that. But sorry, before I do that, I need to do one more thing. So let's click cancel for now. I want to put this on a secondary axis like this. And now let's do what I mentioned before. Let's change chart type to stack. So this would be the obvious choice. Let's click OK. And we actually want to have this slightly thinner. So I will make it, slightly thinner. And I don't want to use any fill on this one. So I will select no fill and also no line. So basically now I don't have anything. But now on top of that, I want to add my variances. So I'm just going to copy paste my positives and put it here. Okay. And I also want to add the negatives. So let's copy paste this one as well. Now, I don't know if you already know where I'm going with this, but now I have my variance on the chart. Now the positive, so where the performance was, better, I want to go with green color, of course. So maybe let's just change the fill of this one to green. Maybe let's go with this one, and let's change this one to red. So solid fill, and let's go with red color. Okay, so now we have integrated variance in the chart. The thing that it's missing are the labels. So for this series, I guess I can already do it like this. So let's just add data labels. And let's leave them at the center. And I want to do the same for those tables. And for that, I'm just gonna, just repeat the copy paste. I'm gonna add this series on top of it. Again, I'm gonna add the data labels. Let's maybe customize this and let's put them in the center. Label options. I think this option works best, and let's remove the field for this one. So let's go with no field, and let's do the same for the negative values, and then we should have like I would say much more actionable chart that we had at the beginning. So again, let's just copy paste that. Let's add data labels. Let's put it inside and let's remove the color for this one. So sorry, I could also go with that, but let's go through settings. And maybe we can also format those labels with the red color. Now, that would be one example of how to make maybe more actionable chart within Excel. Maybe we can remove this axis as well. But here now I have a trend chart, and for every single month I can see like the positive and negative variances. So there are things you can do within Excel. Of course, I can resize this, and if you want, you can also replace this maybe with the certain arrows and things like that. If you want to have arrows instead of bars. But this, I would say, is much more actionable chart because you can integrate variance and you can see straight away. And now back to my original point, if you're, let's say, boss, look at a chart like that, well, it will immediately spot, where's the red color or where's the green color, where the positive performance or where we had a certain performance issues. And that would be one example of how to do more actionable reporting in Excel. But I guess you all agree that this is, couple of tricks and specific needs to be applied here in order to get chart like that. Now, I will show you now how to do that with Zebra BI visuals in, I would say, in an easier way. Let me add this one. Maybe let's put this on top for now. And let me show you a couple of things you can do with Zebra BI visuals. So maybe let's start with the chart. So let me start with a couple of basic information. You can simply import Zebra BI visuals from Microsoft. Is it App Source or is it App Store in this case? But nevertheless, so you can just simply click on Get Add-ins. Then here, of course, you can select it for a variety of different add-ins. But if you just type in Zebra and select Search, then you will see those two add-ins, and you just click add, and then you will, next time you will see them under your add-ins. And now how to use them once we have them imported? Well, it's actually really easy to do. So I want to visualize this chart on the right. So we have some actual data, we have budget, forecast, and some comments as well. So I can just select this range or just maybe click on a specific cell, whatever you prefer. And then I will just click insert Zebra BI charts. And what this will create is that advanced chart that I guess I was trying to demonstrate at the beginning right away. So at the moment, we have this waterfall chart, but we have those, I would say, key elements that I mentioned before. So we have variance integrated, and this one is also a bit specific. Now, what is really powerful here is that we can actually switch between different visualizations within the add-in. So this one would be kind of a similar to what I've shown before, but within add-in, you can switch between different advanced visualization. So you just prepare the data, insert the add-in, and then select what chart do you want to show. Now, this one is a bit specific, so until we have our actuals available, it will show you a comparison between actual and budget. So that would be this part. But once your actuals are no longer available, and I guess this would be the good case. So at the moment we have data for, let's say, we have closed May at this point. But from now on, we have maybe plan and forecast. And here, you can just simply present that, and Zebra will detect that and automatically switch to forecast versus plan comparison. Of course, this will have slightly different notations so that you can immediately understand that this is different type of data comparison. But here we have all the key ingredients. So we have the trends, we have absolute variance and relative variance calculated out of the box. Meaning you don't have to have a special calculation just for that. You just simply create the chart, and Zebra will calculate it for you. Another, I would say, really helpful thing is the so-called responsive layout. And what exactly does that mean? If I make this smaller, you see the layout is being adjusted automatically. And now if I make it smaller, now this is kind of similar to the chart that we created before. But again, still this is much better because you have variance incorporated straight away on the chart. Again, if you make it bigger, of course, this will be adjusted accordingly. I guess you also spotted this part here, comments, and comments I think are really important because not every single important, let's say, situation can be explained with the data. Sometimes maybe you have a specific information that you want to pass over to your audience. And in that case, it is actually really simple to do that. So I guess you notice on the table, we have this column called comments. And if I want to comment maybe something specific for September or maybe for December, you can just simply type a comment. So here we have like better forecast. So let's just comment something, really simple, better performance due to collaboration with Excel. Okay, Faraz, hopefully you like this comment. But essentially, you just type in the message that you want to add, press enter, and it will immediately appear on the visual. It will also add that comment marker, which will indicate to which specific data point is this referring to. Okay, so that would be a simple example of Zebra BI chart. Then let me also demonstrate you the second visual, Zebra BI tables, because typically in Excel, you want to do a lot of things with tables. So here we have a slightly different option. This time we are using Excel table, more or less the same data structure as on the example before. However, we are using the native Excel tables, which I think are a better option because everything will be updated automatically if you add rows and things like that. But again, pretty simple. I'm just going to select something on this visual, but this time I'm going to insert the Zebra BI tables. Now, as soon as I do that, again, with just a few clicks, I already get a really solid report of my performance. So I have a lot of different car manufacturing companies, and then I have solid report that shows me how we are performing. So I have my previous year data, actual data, and plan. And what I want to do next is maybe customize this report a bit. And also maybe I can just simply hide data on the left and just interact with my report. So a couple of things I can do on the visual. For example, I can simply switch between different sorting options. So let's say I want to see my worst performing units compared to previous year. I can just apply this type of sorting here, and I will have my worst performing elements at the top. Of course, I can do the same on every single column. And I can also change the layout. So maybe I want to start with previous year data. I can just reorder the columns. And let's say I will also want to visualize my actual data. I can go with this option and maybe organize ascendingly based on my performance. And if I want to kind of highlight maybe a specific columns, I can apply different formatting options, maybe a slide background and things like that. And also I can switch between different chart types, which I guess is the key information here. Maybe let's go with waterfall chart, so that we can see, how in total our variance is going. And this can be switched on every single column. So you can show it with the numbers or with, for example, variance chart, or waterfall chart, whatever, basically. And even on the tables, you can switch between two different layouts. So sometimes you want to go with more numbers, sometimes you want to go with more visual elements. Here you can actually switch between both options within the same visual. Okay, so again, this is something to keep in mind. You can simply switch between different layouts. So that would be the table example. Now maybe let's move on to a bit more complex examples. And this one, I guess it's really common. It's the P&L report or financial reporting in general. I think it's something that every company needs in a way. They of course want to have like performance overview of key financial KPIs and so on. But typically, this results in like really long tables with a lot of elements, based on which, again, it's kind of hard to make actionable decision. Now, let me show you how maybe a proper P&L report could look like in Excel as well. Again, this is now the third example and third different data source that this time we are using pivot tables. Okay, so you can go with the ranges, you can go with Excel tables, and you can of course also use the pivot tables. And pivot tables, of course, do bring additional benefits to the table. I will explain this more in details later on. But again, let's just go with Zebra BI tables. Now again, this has been calculated, and if I make it a bit bigger, this would already be a solid report. However, still a couple of things we need to do before that. First, we want to apply the so-called custom sort on my categories, because in P&L, of course, I want to have a certain sort order of my account in exactly the same way as I have them on a pivot table in the lab. Now, going back to this visual, I want to do a couple of different things. I also want to show the structure of my elements from the P&L report. So that's why I'm going to go with the waterfall chart. And in this section, I can see how my sales revenue are being generated, combining total sales revenue. Okay, so until here, everything looks okay. But then if I look below, I have a certain cost element, purchases, other expenses, personal expenses, material expenses, and so on. And of course, I guess we all agree that at the moment, this is not being presented in the right way. However, what I can do is invert all those elements. So I can just simply do the right click on the element, select invert, and this will, switch the waterfall in the right way. And by the way, you can also invert all children, which would be entire category. Okay, so here we need to remove the invert. Yeah, now it makes sense. So we have our total revenues, and then we have costs. By the way, you can also see that variance color has been switched around accordingly. Meaning, if we have higher costs than what was maybe previous year or what was planned, this will be, of course, formatted with the red color because this is not something we want to have. We don't want higher costs. And then altogether, sales revenue and expenses, this is operating profit. So this is basically a result of the previous elements. So we want to show it as a result. So right click, just show it as a result. And again, the waterfall chart makes sense. Then we have some financial income. This one is positive element, and this will then, then we have investment income. Altogether, this is profit before tax. Again, this is a result. We want to show it like this. Then we have income tax. This is cost. Let's invert it. This is then profit before tax. Show it as a result. And then we have profit to other interest. And altogether, this is then the group profit. Okay. So what I was trying to show is that you can simply control how to present elements. And then at the end, this will create like a powerful P&L that you can then hopefully proudly show it to your boss. Maybe let's switch previous year to the waterfall chart as well. And now I have my structure, my P&L, and I have variances calculated automatically, absolute variance and relative as well. And maybe let's do one last thing. Let's switch also this to waterfall chart so that we can see how variance is kind of being structured together. And since we are using pivot table, that brings a couple of additional benefits. One of them is that since we have two-level hierarchy, see, so that would be account group level and that would be account level. Now, that means that we can use the so-called expand and collapse buttons on our visual. So if you want to go with more like top-level approach, we can like collapse our revenue and expenses and just have the total number, and then maybe just check operating and profit before tax and group profit more in details. So yeah, kind of the same as in pivot table, you can just use those expand and collapse buttons to control the level of detail that you want to show. Because sometimes maybe you have a bit more complex structures, either in P&L or maybe different reports. So this can be really helpful to get more in detail. Okay, and maybe let's show this one here as well. Let's just create a really basic chart. Again, let's just click on the pivot table and create a chart. And the good thing about using pivot tables is that, of course, you can incorporate slicers as well. And now this can be, starting to look like a dashboard. So here I have a couple of slicers, and if I, click on this one, this should filter, my pivot table first, and of course, this would be reflected on a chart. If I want to go with this option, I can just simply switch between different regions, different years, and I can select like specific business group that I want to show. Again, this is, I would say, step towards dashboard being in Excel. Then we have also one more example, which is a bit more complex, and I actually showed it at the beginning in PowerPoint, and that was so-called small multiples. So again, we just have pivot table in the right, we have some sort of products, and then we have different quarters. But now, again, let's just insert the zebra BI chart, and what this will do is the so-called small multiples. So let me just resize it, make it a bit bigger. And as you can see, we have basically a dedicated chart for every single business unit. Okay, so I see we have totals. This is something maybe we want to remove for now. Do we have it by rows? Okay, I think this is related to rows. So let's just go with pivot table options. So let's remove totals by rows. Okay, let's go back to the report. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. Well, again, dedicated chart for every single business unit. Variance is incorporated, scaling is in place. And if I want to have like more top level understanding of the performance of our business unit, I think that would be a way to go. So yeah, then even with small multiples, I can do all the things I've shown you before. So I can switch between different visualization options. And on the visual, then you can do a couple of different things. You can, for example, break the axis if you want to see variances more in details, I guess. You can also control the labels. So you can simply switch between percentages and absolute numbers. You can have a combination of both just by clicking on it. And if you want to see like specific elements more in details, I can just simply click on it. And in the focus view, this will be presented more in detail. And again, since we are using pivot tables, I can always filter down by a specific year. But still, everything will be formatted and presented in a consistent way in terms of colors, in terms of notations, font sizes, and so on. Okay, that would be like another example, this time with a bit more data. So this is, I think, like a typical case, but I want to show you here maybe one specific feature. This is now quite extensive table. We have, I would say, like around 50, 60 different countries. And here we can see the performance. So we can organize this and see the worst performing elements at the top and the best performing at the bottom. But in between, you can see that there is a lot of elements that are more or less performing aligned with plan. And now, if you don't want to show 60 elements, but maybe just, I don't know, 8 or 10, the most relevant one, we can use a specific feature that is really cool for showing the outliers. Let me show you how to do that. So again, I'm just going to do the right click on my categories, and I'm going to select top, bottom, and option. Here, I can switch between a couple of different options. The top end would be the obvious choice if you want to go with maybe the best performing elements. The bottom would be for the worst performing elements. But this one is actually a combination of both. So I'm going to select this one. And in the next step, I can select on which column do I want this to be applied. And in this case, I want to do it on the variance in order to kind of detect the outliers. So I'm going to select this column, delta PL, which would be, delta towards plan. And let's go maybe with top 12 elements. And now we won't have 60 elements, but maybe just top 10, top 12. And now I can make this smaller and maybe add additional insights to it. And maybe we can also switch this to waterfall chart. But essentially, what I can see here is that, well, total performance is positive. And if I look closely to my outliers, this would be the most critical elements in terms of performance. China is at the top. Then we have Australia, Belgium, and so on. But I guess those countries saved the day, especially United Kingdom and Germany, and also United States to some extent. Okay, and then all the other elements that we grouped together, which was like 40 different countries, this is their impact. Not much. They were more or less aligned with plan. Altogether, slightly negative impact, but it didn't do much difference in terms of total performance. So that would be the top plus bottom end approach. And this is great for presenting the key outliers. And maybe one last example. Again, this is a hierarchical table. This one is quite complex, similar to what I've shown before, but maybe let's just create this one as well. So first, let's insert the Zebra BI table for Office. Let's expand it. And what we have here now is a bit more detailed table. You see, if I scroll down, we have a lot of elements. Again, you can also use that. However, maybe it might be too much if you show all the data straight away, because this is like a lot of data to consume. This is, I would say, a couple of hundred rows, and our brains are not designed in a way to really, understand everything. So what I can do here is maybe collapse entire field. Okay, and I can do the same on this level, collapse entire field. And now this looks much more manageable. So I can see, well, we are not performing well in the baby care department. Let's see what is going on here. So I will expand this element. So we have, okay, this one is more or less the same on the second level. But now if I go into the details, I can see everything on a detail on a customer level. And if I sort this, ascendingly, you see now I have the worst performing elements for baby care business units. And I can see that actually, okay, we have quite a lot of elements performing below the plan. It goes the same, I guess, for the positive variances. Here, I guess it would also make sense to use top and bottom end, but we have one really critical, and we can easily, spot it by just sorting the data. So this one, okay, let's just call it fourth because I cannot pronounce the first word. But this one is, I would say, critical, is performing strongly below the plan, and is generating a lot of this negative gap we have towards the plan. Okay, now maybe let me just show you a couple of report examples. This one would be combination of all the things that I've shown you here, and this one would be, I guess, some sort of financial report. And again, what we are using here are the slicers on the right, and we are also using pivot tables. So you can format them in a similar way as a drop-down menu, and then you can just simply select that and maybe switch between different tiers. And what this is, really helpful is you have this search box, and then if you want to search something specific, you can just simply type it in the search box, and this will be, of course, filtered accordingly and presented like this. And then you can select the element, and that's it. But yeah, the interaction is there. You can just simply select the data here or here, and this is the recent addition we added. You can also use interactivity between the visuals. So if I just want to check my EBITDA or maybe net earnings that is performing below the plan, I just simply click on these elements, and you can see that the other visuals are being filtered accordingly. Again, you need to have slicers incorporated. So this slicer, you just control which tables to filter. But yeah, this is, I guess, really cool thing because you can basically have the same experience as in Power BI, also in Excel. You can also do that for months. So for example, you just want to see maybe the August data that is really performing below the plan. And you just simply click, and now everything is filtered accordingly. And we can see that we have basically just 2 customers performing well in August, while on the other hand, we have a lot of elements performing below the plan. And I guess you also notice this. So you can create cross tables also. We have KPIs in our rows, but then we have different period calculations. We have month to date, we have year to date, and full year also in the columns. Again, variance is there, comparison to actual plan. So you can understand, you have kind of the whole picture, how you are doing in the specific month, how you are doing since the beginning of the year, and then you can also have forecast versus plan comparison to kind of see the full picture. Okay, so I won't show all the examples. What I can maybe show you is just where you can find a lot of different templates, maybe as a source of inspiration or something you will incorporate on your own data. So on our website, zebrabi.com, you just go on the resources and under templates. You will have a couple of, not a couple, I would say quite a lot of different templates. Here we have some Power BI examples, but then you also have a lot of different templates, for example, from financials like cash flow, break-even analysis, to some sales variance report, working capital, cost analysis, different types of P&Ls, charts, and so on. And you can just simply download them. And the good thing about dashboards is that if you download something, you can just maybe simply replace the data with your own, and you are good to go. I'll just show you maybe one quick example. Yeah, maybe let's go with this one. I'm just going to download the template. Okay, it should appear here. Let's just open it. You will see the template. Then you can just simply copy paste your own data, maybe rename them slightly different. Okay, I just continue with the free license. But yeah, the report is already prepared. Now, the only thing I need to do basically is just go to this part and maybe replace those, let's say, dummy expenses with your own categories and populate this table with your own data. And the report will be like immediately updated according to that. So feel free to try this out. And as mentioned, yeah, there are quite a lot of templates, and we're going to add new ones as well. So yeah, check it out. Now, Faraz, before we wrap it up, I also want to show you how all of that looks in PowerPoint. I mentioned that we don't cover just Excel. Of course, I by design put most of my time to Excel presentation, but all of that, what I've shown you, is also possible within PowerPoint. Let me just quickly demonstrate. So exactly the same user experience. And again, let me just show you a couple of examples, some waterfall charts that are really, I would say, popular in you know, those more top level presentations that you do within PowerPoint. I guess, again, charts like that would really make an impact because they show all the key things. So that would be like an example income statement. And again, this is something, going back to our viewers, that you can immediately understand, well, what is the performance when you look at the dashboard. And this is what Actionable Reporting is all about, having variances incorporated, calculated. Then things like comments can be a great addition. Then you can also do a couple of things on the visual. I haven't shown you that, but you can actually do formulas like gross margin percentage also within the visual, which can like also be useful sometimes. And then you have all the different combinations of charts that I was showing you, small multiples. And to just show it from scratch, it's actually really simple in PowerPoint, perhaps even easier than in Excel. So again, you just simply first import the visuals, then you just select maybe a chart, and this will open the so-called chart selector. So here we have a couple of different options. So time charts, or you can go maybe with structure charts, variance charts, contributions, and then once you have, you know, the chart that you want to use, maybe let's go with variance again. You just click on this icon, and this will already create the chart for you. Of course, with the dummy data, but again, you just simply replace that with your own data, and you should be good to go. So, for example, if I replace maybe January with something higher, so now we are performing below the plan, but now let's write 200. You see, this will immediately change the data on the chart. Maybe let's go with even a higher number like this. Then we just simply close the data, and we have our variances here. Again, really easy, and then you can just simply, you know, put this on a slide. If you want a bigger one, that's okay. If you want a smaller one, you can just simply resize it and, you know, add it next to your text in order to really like support maybe the story that you want to pass over to your audience. Again, this can be customized, so you can have more space for the comments or less space. It's up to you to format this in any way you want. And maybe just one last thing, I guess you also notice that you have this option to link data to Excel. So if you want to maybe just link this to your table in Excel or data range in Excel, you can also do that. So you just simply click on this one, and this will open up. Okay, I need to sign in. And now you see, I see all the folders from my, let's say, OneDrive in our case. So here I just select the folder and then the file and connect to a specific table. And this will link your data, meaning if you will do some changes in Excel, you just simply save it and it will be reflected on this chart automatically. Okay. So that would be kind of all from my end. I guess we were timing this for like 60 minutes and more or less on time. So yeah, now I guess it's the Q&A part. So if you have any questions, feel free to join the discussion and maybe share your impressions, whether or not you think this actionable reporting is a good approach, something that would make reports within companies better. Of course, we are also open to critiques and stuff like that, but in any case, feel free to share your opinion. So Faraz, over to you.
Thank you, Tine. Thank you very much for this lovely session. We have some questions in the chat. The first question is that, do we need internet connection to use this add-in?
Internal connection.
Yeah, I got this question
Mhm.
on the YouTube.
Okay,
Do we
so
need internet connection to use this add-in?
um, okay, so I don't know what exactly this internal connection here mean, but let me try to explain anyway. There's
Like
no like
you need to be online. Maybe you need to be online to use this connection.
uh, no, not really. So, okay, you need to be online once you are importing it. So if I want to upload it from the app source, then yeah, I guess you do need, of course, internet connection, but then you have it, as I mentioned before. So this is the first step. You just type in Zebra BI, go under search, and then you click add. This will be then added to your either PowerPoint or Excel. And then if you save something, this should remain under your add-ins. So the next time you open the file, even if you don't have internet connection, it should be here and it should work. So yeah, it's not related to that. By the way, you can also use it, of course, in Office Online. This, I guess, is also like a cool benefit to have because a lot of those tools do not work in online version. And in that case, yeah, of course, you do need to have internet connection.
Great. There's another question. Is this add-in for free?
Well, yeah, to some extent. So we do have free version, which, by the way, offers a lot of things. I think the only thing that you have is like a small watermark below, but most of the features that I've shown today are supported, including, yeah, more or less, maybe just data linking is not, but other than that, it's more or less, yeah, works in exactly the same way. So yeah, we do have the free version and you can just simply try it out. As mentioned, you just simply import the visuals and then you just need to log in with your Microsoft account and you're good to go.
Nice. And there's a question from Eric. Does Zebra BI have an API so I can automate creating and manipulating Zebra BI components using VBA or REST?
No, so this is not supported. Our product is, how should I say, on the close end of software. No, there's not like a dedicated API you could use. The functionalities that we have are, I would say, out of the box within the tool. But yeah, if you have like any specific customization in mind, feel free to reach out. And if the ideas make sense, we always tend to include good ideas from our users to our product in order to make it better and to make our customers happy.
Great. And the last question, which you have already demoed it, asking, does it work with PowerPoint? So yes, it works. I will answer that question. Yes, it works. It definitely works with Excel. It works with Power BI. It works with PowerPoint. So all the power you have it in your hands in with Zebra BI tool. All you just need to do to go is get add-ins and you can download and you can get your hands dirty with that. Thank you so much, Eric, Jenny, and all the people over here. So we are finished with the session, and we'll be just signing out from the YouTube live, but we'll be still back on Zoom. So as usual, Jenny, I always ask my presenter to give some last words of his presentation or anything, whatever he would like to talk about, data or anything, learning any simple code, like you have some nice Steve Jobs quotes or your own code, something inspiring, that would really lovely. And we thank you, but you don't please sign out from the Zoom. Please be there, everybody who are here, because the party is still on. We'll be signing it out from YouTube only. Yes, Sini, over to you.
Yeah, so Faraz, sorry, I don't have like really strong quote at the end. So maybe let me just use this opportunity to, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for joining the session, all the attendees. And yeah, it was great seeing you again, buddy. So let's conclude with that.
Great. So my friends, we are signing out from the YouTube stream live by YouTube. So see you at the next session. And do let me know about the Power BI in your comment section, the support. If you have any questions, just feel free to connect with me or Tini. We are available on LinkedIn. And if you need any help or support, I'm always there with you guys. Just drop me a message and I'm just a message away from you. So see you soon in the next video and take care. Bye from YouTube, my friends.
Thank you. Bye.